This presentation, titled How to Integrate Innovation in All Layers of Your Organization, comes to us from Alice de Casanove. Alice is in charge of innovation culture at Airbus North America, where she fosters a relevant mindset to accelerate future businesses. She leads the cultural roadmap for digitization and anchors Airbus values. Alice plays a determinant role in the publication of the ISO reference on good practices in innovation management, which is the ISO 56000 series of standards. Since 2013, she has chaired the international committee gathering more than 50 countries in close coordination with the WTO, OECD, WIPO, and the World Bank. Alice began her career in a video deep tech startup before joining French telecom manufacturer Sagem to manage and develop the value of their innovative portfolio. She later developed video technologies for ActImagine, which became the Nintendo Europe R&D Center. Alice graduated from Telecom Paris Tech and is finishing a PhD on the relationships between large corporations and startups within Lorraine University. And with that, take it away, Alice.
Thank you so much, Mike. It's a real pleasure to be with you today. As you said, I'm working for Airbus, so I'd like that this presentation has a taste of a travel. And when you are flying, generally you have a good menu, I hope, in the airplane. So the menu of today in our airline will be for the starter to talk about ISO TC279 and the ISO 56000 series on innovation management. We will make a deep dive as a main course on innovation management systems. And to finish this lunch, we will talk about innovation culture and entrepreneurs in the organizations. Let's have a look first on how innovation is perceived by quality manager. Well, it's fun, pleasant, colorful, but a little bit messy. And when we talk standardization to an innovation manager, it's, wow, really organized, not really fun, and very, very difficult to create collaboration as everything is in silos and organized. So why can standardization help innovation managers? Well, first, we can share the same language. That's the added value of the standardization. The standardization may help innovation management to be visible in the organization, to be recognized, documented. And it's a way also for us to share our good practices. Let's see, what does it mean to share the same language? Well, we have a definition of the ISO 56000, which is about principles and vocabulary. And we define innovation as something new or modify that creates or generate added value. And this value can be financial or non-financial. In other words, innovation is the result of an operational process. And what we have done in the ISO TC279 is to think about, okay, how can we think about innovation management system? And we are thinking about innovation management system to make innovation visible in the organization, to make innovation visible in the system. And in the 50s, well, it was much more about the professionalization of the project management. Then in the 80s, it was the quality management. And today, that's the innovation management, which is articulated to become visible and to be new skills for the organization. That's the reason why that we launched the TC279 on innovation management. So, and as you said, Mike, we are in liaison with OECD, WIPO, World Bank, World Trade Organization, started in 2013, and so far we have even more than 63 countries. We have 66 countries, more than 150 experts. So do not hesitate to join us in contacting your national standardization body and to join our experts. But let's continue, in fact, to understand what has been done in this technical committee and what we wanted to achieve. So now you are really in the cockpit of our technical committee. We continue our journey. Our innovation management standard is a guided framework for the leadership team to organize and manage innovation. It's a kind of checklist, like for the pilot. Okay, you check what you have to do. And in what you have to do, in the practices that we are sharing, we have defined 8 principles for the development of the innovation management system. The first principle is realization of value. How do you, create value for your innovation? And by creating value, we mean answering a need coming from your end user. Our second principle is to have future-focused leader. It's to understand how your environment will change and how you can, answer the needs that you will have tomorrow. That's the reason why you need a strategic direction to align your innovation strategy with your organization strategy. Develop the culture to support this strategy and make sure that the people in your organization think and react to support this strategic direction. To feed your organization, you need also what we call exploitable insights, some kind of weak signals to understand your environment, your context. And our 6th principles, it's about uncertainties management. In other words, is how can you, grasp opportunities, and instead of seeing risk everywhere, transform these risks into opportunities. It means also, that's the 7th principles, that you need an adaptable structure to make sure that you are able to meet the challenge of tomorrow. That's the reason why also we propose a systemic approach to address all the layers of your organization. So today, what is called in aerospace the flight bag, which is all the documents that the pilot have to pilot the aircraft. So we have an equivalent of the flight bag for innovation. So far, we published the ISO 56000 on innovation management with the fundamentals and vocabulary. So you have the different principles which are explained, plus some key definitions. We have the ISO 56002, which is the innovation management system. So it's a high-level document explaining which are the key elements that you need for your system. And we will make a deep dive later in this presentation on this innovation management system. We have the ISO 56003, which is a tool to support the implementation on the innovation management system, and it's about partnerships. We have also another document, ISO 56004, on innovation management assessment. It's mainly a tool to build benchmark for innovation management. The ISO 56005 is about intellectual property management, and make sure that the intellectual property is a kind of red thread for your innovation management, and that you're able to create value for your organization through the intellectual property. We have still some documents under development. So typically the ISO 56001, which is the innovation management system with requirements to create future audit. ISO 56006 about strategic intelligence. So typically it helps you to get these exploitable insights to capture these weak signals. We are developing also the ISO 56007 on idea management. So how to generate ideas, how to select them. So now, it's the famous divergence and convergence in idea management. We are developing also the ISO 56008 on metrics that you may use for innovation. And last but not least, ISO 56010 to have some illustration about our different definitions on innovation management. So as I said, we adopted a systemic approach. It means that we, in this ISO 56002, we are using the ISO structure to develop to develop a management system. And we have some a table of a table of content to respect. And in this table, so it's about which are the different resources that we need for the implementation of the system. What's the role of the leadership? How to communicate the strategy? How to document the process, and how to continuously also evaluate and improve the system in place. So what's exactly in this document? So we started from a project vision, saying, okay, you have an intention, you have your innovation process, and it creates value. Between this intention and this value, there are many steps, and they are not iterative. That's something which is really linked to innovation and specific to innovation. So you identify opportunities, you create concept, validate concept, generate solutions, deploy solutions. But sometimes you are generating solutions and say, no, that's not what the end user is looking for. So you go back to your concept validation. So that's the reason why you have arrows everywhere. But that's how we define the main steps of the innovation process. Now that's what I've seen is really the process for the innovation management. But you have also the leadership, supporting this process, creating the engagement, sharing the vision and the strategy of the organization. Of course, you have to take care of the organization context and make sure that you align the resources, so the support, with this organization context. And what is also detailed in the ISO 56002 is how you are going to monitor with the plan, do, check, and act your system. So that's what we are describing in the ISO 56002, and that's checklist that we are proposing. And now I propose to talk about how the leaders are using this checklist. And here, typically, I'd like to talk about this quote from Herb Kelleher, who was the founder of the airline Southwest, and who said, the business of business is people. As a leader, he considered that he had to take care of the people in his organization. No, it's not necessarily, the customers, the relationships with the airport. No. His main concern was to make sure that his employees in his organization have the best employee experience. It means that Southwest has a strong company culture. And when we talk about a company culture, we think about many aspects. Of course, there's the workspace. And it can be, hybrid workspace with people working from a remote location and people working from an office. And that's also how you're going to organize your workspace to create collaboration between people, because that's through the collaboration, the collision of different worlds, that you can create the innovation. It's about hiring. How are you going to hire profiles fitting with the mindset of the organization, but at the same time, able to challenge the status quos that exist in your organization? It's about also communication. How do you make sure that your employees get this sense of belonging to your organization in organizing regular communication. It's about also the leaders, how they are able to motivate the employees and to share their visions, to share their values. It's also about recognition. How do we make sure that the people who are contributing, um, delivering, are recognized in the organization? And by the way, a culture, in fact, will influence the way that we think, act, and behave. Now, let's let's compare the mindset, of the entrepreneur who are seen as the people, leading and delivering innovation. The entrepreneur, which is a new concept of, people having this entrepreneurship mindset, but being, in an established organization and a manager. In terms of desire, the entrepreneur is looking for power of control. He's building everything, and what he wants to do is controlling the whole organization. The entrepreneur, which is in an established company, is looking for a can-do, looking for freedom. The manager, well, is looking for the power to delegate with growing teams and the ability, to break down tasks to deliver and to have more and more people to have bigger and bigger projects. So in terms of recognition, the entrepreneur, well, I'm the owner, I'm the boss. The entrepreneur is looking for independence, how to make sure that he's able to deliver even if, the organization is super big, super complex. The manager feels the recognition if, there's a promotion. In terms of resources, well, for the entrepreneur, generally there are some scarce resources. For the entrepreneur, well, he's seeking for internal resources. For the manager, well, everything is planned, okay, what he has to deliver is planned, and he knows the resources that he needs to deliver what is expected. So it has an influence on the operating mode. The entrepreneur is using intuition, these weak signals to understand, okay, what's the secret sauce, what I can propose to meet expectations. The entrepreneur will have also the same intuition, but the entrepreneur has also this ability to translate this intuition in the corporate culture. The manager, well, it's, as I said earlier, about planning and delivering. So it's really operational mindset. So what has been done in Airbus to, let's say, develop the culture and identify our entrepreneurs? We launched a big event called Dream Big, where we ask our employees to think about the challenges of tomorrow. And through this challenge, we have been able to identify the ones who, want to do this extra mile and want to solve the problem of tomorrow. These people able to translate the weak signals into our corporate language. And, for us, it was really important. And as well, Steve Jobs said, we have to hire people not to tell them what to do, but we want them to tell us what to do. So that's why we created this forum, this space where we were able to listen to our employees. Because to be honest, the reality of an entrepreneur is really difficult. You have to communicate with finance to say, okay, no, there's no budget for your idea because that's not part of the operation plan. The production says, oh, we have to deliver on time, on quality, on cost, and no room for your ideas. The sales say, oh, I'm the voice of the customer. No, don't try to get direct feedback from your from the customers. The IT will say, oh, you want to host your project on an external platform? That's not safe. And the HR is not recognizing your competencies as an entrepreneur. So it's, the reality of the entrepreneur is super hard. And there are some companies and especially airlines who are able to recognize and see the value of the entrepreneur. And Richard Branson said that an entrepreneur is an employee who is given freedom and financial support to create new products, services, and systems, who does not know how to follow companies' usual routines and protocols. And you see, earlier I presented the ISO 56000 standard on how to create your innovation management system. In other words, it's how you can create this environment where people can break the routines and protocols of the organization to create the business of tomorrow. Thanks a lot for your attention. It has been a real pleasure to talk about the ISO TC279 standard. And now I hand over to you, Mike.
Well, thank you, Alice de Casanove, for that perspective on organizational innovation and entrepreneurship. And that concludes this presentation.